breaking news story. Kebby Maphatsoe has passed away. For more now, we're joined by suspended MKMVA spokesperson, Mr. Carl Niehaus. Mr. Niehaus, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Condolences, obviously, to you and your movement. Talk to us about what you know around this information about the death of Mr. Maphatsoe.
The news is heartbreaking. We only received it also recently from the family of President Comrade Kebby Maphatsoe. So the cause of his death is not known at this stage, but we can confirm that he had sadly passed on. As you know, Comrade Kebby Maphatsoe had dedicated his whole adult life to the liberation struggle as a member of the African National Congress and also as a member of Umkhonto we Sizwe. He was in exile. He dedicated his life in exile as a member of Umkhonto we Sizwe. On his return to South Africa, he became one of the leading figures in the African National Congress, and also he took the lead in the formation of Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association. As president of MKMVA, he dedicated his life to the well-being of the members of Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association and all ex-MK combatants. He was the close associate of President Jacob Zuma, a strong supporter, and someone who will be sorely missed in the ranks of the ANC and, of course, especially in the ranks of MK military veterans. We say today, Hamba Kahle, President Kebby Maphatsoe, Hamba Kahle Umkhonto we Sizwe military veterans, Hamba Kahle, a comrade who dedicated his life to the struggle. May his revolutionary soul rest in peace.
And of course, Mr. Niehaus, Mr. Maphatsoe also served as a Deputy Minister of Defense between 2014 and 2019. Talk to me about that role that he assumed in Cabinet.
Kebby Maphatsoe, in his role as Deputy Minister of Defense, concentrated especially on the plight of MK military veterans. He was central in the formation and also in the work of the Department of Military Veterans. And I think as time goes on, the huge contribution that he had made in the formation of the Department of Military Veterans and his dedication to improve the lives of military veterans in general and specifically those of Umkhonto we Sizwe will still be fully honored and respected. All of us know Comrade Kebby as a dedicated liberation fighter, as a very warm human being, and someone who cared deeply about his fellow comrades and especially the community of ex-MK veterans.
Now, Mr. Niehaus, I know this is a very difficult time, but before I let you go, you obviously mentioned the close relationship to the former President Jacob Zuma. Talk to me about how he felt, just in the last days of his, before he sadly passed, just about developments around the former President Jacob Zuma.
Well, President Maphatsoe was deeply distraught by the illegal imprisonment of President Jacob Zuma. I've spoken to him many times about this, and he always insisted that Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association had to give all its support and protection to President Jacob Zuma. In fact, the times that I went as a representative of Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association to Nkandla to support President Jacob Zuma had always been under the instruction from President Kebby Maphatsoe. And I know that he had been in constant contact with President Zuma and that he truly loved and supported President Zuma throughout his life. What happened in the last couple of months, and especially the last while with the imprisonment of President Zuma, was devastating for President Kebby Maphatsoe as it had been for so many of us. We must recall that President Zuma had been the patron-in-chief of Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association, and he was a close friend and associate of Comrade Kebby Maphatsoe.
Now, we also know that you were very close to him. Now, just as a final, for this interview and for you, how would you remember his legacy, and how do you want South Africans to remember his legacy? I mean, as you've said, he's been fighting for this country for many years. In fact, he was a member of COSAS as well as the Soweto Youth Congress. What would you like him to be remembered as?
I would like Comrade Kebby Maphatsoe to be remembered as a liberation soldier, as a selfless servant of the people, someone who stuck to his commitment and his convictions throughout, as a comrade who dedicated his life to the liberation struggle and set an example for so many of us, and as someone who did not leave his fellow soldiers even during a time when so many have disregarded them in the lurch. He continued to fight for MK military veterans throughout his life up to his last day.
All right, Mr. Carl Niehaus, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.